Good afternoon, everybody. Got a little bit of time in the shop today. Been running around town most of the morning. I've been watching a lot of videos on DIY rod holders for the boat, and my boat would not be my boat without something homemade on it. So we're going to homemade some rod holders. I've got one roughed out. I forget what channel I saw this on. There's several different styles of these. Now this is Schedule 80 PVC pipe, made for high pressure type stuff. I had about a 10-foot or 12-foot piece of it I've had out here behind the shop for years. I think it came from my father-in-law's old place when we cleaned out that years ago. I think that's where it came from, because he was a plumber and pipe fitter. That's what he did for a living, and he had all kind of pipe and stuff like that around. But this is a 4-inch. Now you could use 4-inch thick wall PVC too. That's what I've seen on video. But this is a lot thicker, and plus I already had it. So I got one roughed out. The way these work, threaded rod goes in here. And of course the put your nut on there to hold it, and then this part screws into the little mount that's on your boat, which I've already got a couple of those on the boat. And there'll actually be a wing nut here to tighten down to secure it really good. And this is an old rod here, old reel, just a half of it. Easier to work with. Get it set in the boat. Sits just like that. Now I had to modify this one after I got it done for this hole here to be big enough, but now I got it the right size. So now I got some of these like I had on the old boat, but the ones I had for that would work fine for it. This boat, the gunnel's a little bit different. It's higher on one side than the other. And I got some extensions for these because I was going to use them anyway, but these are metric threads. And even the wing nuts that come with them are not right. And they flop around in the holders. So there's a reason you get what you pay for. There's a reason these was, I think, $3 a piece at Walmart. So now I've got 3 of these. I don't know what I'm gonna do with them, but one day we'll do something with them. Anyway, there is the first one, the prototype. Of course, I'll have to clean it up good, finish sanding it around the corners and all that. But thought I'd give y'all a look at it right quick. And once I get it cleaned up good, I may spray it with a coat of clear, and it's already gray, so it'll match the interior of the boat and I won't have to paint it. Now these won't stay on there all the time, just when I'm bottom fishing or catfishing, something like that. Now let me show you how I made it, and I'll show you my little setup I got here, because I've got 3 more to make. Alright, let me show you what I'm using here. I'm using this for a little jig. This is a wooden rod holder that I had on the old boat, and the one before that years ago. It's okay, but it's not as strong as I'd like it to be. And I had to modify the hole in here for this, but we'll see that in just a second. Now I'm going to use this for like a jig. We're going to set it down on here like this. You can measure it exactly if you want to, but I don't see no point in that. And where the mounting hole is, we'll drill that first. That's a 3/8, because we got 3/8 threaded rod. Mark our hole. Yeah, there's that one. Now we're going to put this in here to hold it straight. Hold it where we want it. And then turn it this way. Clamping everything down. Okay, that's fairly close to the center there. And this is I forgot, I think it's 1 3/4 or 1 1/4. 1 3/4 hole saw. And we're going to use that to get our spot started here. Okay, we got it started. Battery's dying again. I think my batteries are about wore out. Because I just changed them a minute ago. Anyway, we got that hole drilled. Now I drill the other one after the fact of all this, but I think it's going to be easier to do it this way. See, y'all see what I'm doing here? And I'm just going to line this one up, eyeball it, just like that. Now this hole over here is what we want next. We want it right in the center here, so we'll come down about there. Now, well, the next two we'll use this for a template before we cut the piece out, and I think that'll work a little better. Okay, that'll be about the center of there. See, and I cut these 3 inches, 1.5 inches. That's our center point right there, or thereabouts, close enough. Clamp this back in here. ⅞ spade bit. Now these work really good if they're very, very sharp. And this is a fairly new set that I've got a while back, so they're pretty sharp. Let's go in the center. Tighten up the chuck good, so that don't happen. This drill's about wore out too. I've had them both for several years. They've done really, really well. Now, let's go over to the bandsaw. We could actually go a little, well, no, let's don't cut it out yet. Let's go and do the other 3. This hole here is, no, that still ain't gonna work. We'll do it the same way. It's gonna sit like this. The rod will come up here. Let's see. Let's cut it here. Right about there. Not there. I'm running to the bandsaw and cut that, and I'll be right back, you know. show you the next step. Well, wait a minute. I got all flustered. I had to go to town today, so you know how town is. Okay, we'll cut that one right about there. There we go. We're going to cut out this section here. Alright, be right back. Just 2 little cuts on the saw. Alright, here's the second one. Of course, it needs a little bit of trimming, a lot of Dremel tooling, sanding, rounding, all that kind of stuff. Have to round this hole out just a little bit. And I've got this hole, I checked all my rods, and this will fit everything I've got. So, especially the heavy rods is what these will be used for. There we go, so far. Let me get the other 2 cut out, and we'll come back and work on sanding them some more. I've got I think everything I need, except I need some 3/8 wing nuts. So I got to go back into town in a couple of days and I'll get those. Alright, got all 4 of them cut out. Now, we're going to prep these. First, I'm going to take the Dremel tool and we're going to clean this hole up here. I overcut it just a little bit, but that shouldn't make much difference. It just won't look as pretty, but we don't care too much about what it looks like, just as long as it works. Alright, see if I can get the camera out of the way here so we can almost see what I'm doing. Now the Dremel tool, I've got a little flap disc bit here. Let's see if you can see that. Yep, alright. Let me show you how we're going to do it. Go into the big sander in a little bit and round the corners. We'll do that next. But got to get these holes cleaned up. That ought to do it. It's not as pretty as I'd like it, but it'll work. Now I'm just going to clean these out the same way on all of these. Then we'll head over to the big grinder or sander and round these corners real good all the way around. Don't want any sharp edges. This stuff is messy. Alright, let's shape our ends a little bit. Now, you don't have to have a belt sander to do this. You could cut it, or even take a file, a rasp or something, and knock it off. I'm just going to use this because I have it. But all I'm going to do is round these off just a little bit, even everything up to where my cut wasn't straight here. And I'm going to round this corner just here off a little bit too. Now, watch your volume. It might get loud. Did I mention this stuff is messy? But there we go. Just rounded there. Rounded there. Now I'll do all of them the same. I may go, let's go ahead and do that. Let's go around here. That's a little bit of a rough edge right there. All right, there we go. Now, let's take it over and hand sand just a little bit. And we'll go ahead and we're going to put this one together. I'm going to mount it on the boat and show you how it goes. It may look a little confusing, but when we get it on there, it won't. So, let's go put this one together, and I'll do the same exact thing on the other three. All right, we're going to put this one together. Now I've measured my rod, my threaded rod here. This will depend on how far you want it up on your boat. To have clearance, you can get it out easy. Now I'm out of washers, so these are some old ones, but they'll work just fine. But I'll go out and pick some more washers up for the other ones. Put that rod down through there, just like that. Okay. Put a washer on the bottom. Now you can use stainless, or you could use lock washers or nylock nuts, anything you want to use. I'm going to use this because I already have it. And when I pick up some washers for the other ones, I'll probably get just plain old washers because stainless is a little expensive. Trying to do this whole project on what I already have. Okay, so when these tighten up, they'll be permanent. This won't move anymore. So we'll take our 9/16. Get those tight just like you want them, as tight as you want them. That'll work right there. Now, for all practical purposes, that is complete. But I went ahead and did this, then I'll clamp it in the vise and I'll do the final little hand sanding on the edges. And I was not going to paint these originally, and I'm still not going to paint them. I have about 3/4 of a can of the rubber Flex Seal black. I already have it, so I'm going to mark off where it screws into the mount. I'll show you that in a minute. And then I'm going to put a coat of that on there. And on here too. Just make it all black. That'll help prevent rust from getting on the washers and the rod. Now once again, this will not be on the boat all the time, just when I need them, just when I go fishing and I need them. So, all right, let's clamp it up in here and go hand sand it just a little bit. All right, here we go. Let's install it, then I'll put the black coating on there a little bit. There's my little mounts. This will screw down into. Now this is not the proper wing nut, but it'll work too. I gotta pick some up, but this will show you how it's gonna work. Thread that down in there. Okay, let it tighten up. If you want it to mount here or like this off the back of the boat, sit like that. Make sure you can see that good. And just run that wing nut down. Take your fishing pliers or whatever you got, or even your fingers if your hands are strong. Just a little snug, that's all you need. And there you go. Then put your rod in there. Just like that. It'll flex a little bit, but if you notice, the entire deck, now this is aluminum up under here on this one. The front is wood, but just like that. And this cost nothing so far till I buy the wing nuts, but just a few dollars if you got some scraps laying around. Rod holders, and I think they look pretty good. Once I get that black coating on there, they'll look a lot better. Okay, let's do that next, and then we'll be finished. Alright, there it is with the rubber coating sprayed on it. And it'll probably be tomorrow before I can show it to you again, because it's cold out here. And it'll take probably 24 hours to dry. So there we go. Be back when it's all finished. Good morning, everybody. Back on our rod holder project. This project has taken a long time. I've had things come up and I had to leave the shop. All kinds of stuff. Next step, before we show you the finished up holders themselves, these mounts here is where it screws into, and these came with those other ones with the metric threads, but the 3/8 stir rod I have will fit in here just perfect. I've tried all of them. There's only 3 of these because I only had 3. I was going to get another holder just to get this because they're only $3, I think, but nobody has them. The Walmart's where I got them at, they're out. Excuse the noise. There goes the big motor trucks with the dog boxes and the 4-wheelers. They're getting ready for deer hunting. So instead of trying to look up one and order it, so far I've had everything I need except for the wing nuts, which I bought yesterday while I was out. 4 wing nuts and a dozen washers cost me $8, which is outrageous. But anyway, that's all it's cost so far, so I'm not spending any more on that. I have a piece of aluminum, scrap piece. I've already marked the center. This one's actually going up on the opposite side over there. It's a little bit thicker than this, but it'll be just fine. I'm going to drill this, tap it to 3/8, and drill and countersink 2 holes for the stainless screws. And then before I put it on, I'll round the edges, of course, and tuck it back up closer on that side. So let's go in the shop and do that. Maybe we can get done with this today. Alright, clamped up in the vise on the drill press. Have the vise secured down. Put just a little bit of oil. See if we can't drill this hole. Now I'm drilling a 5/16 hole. I think that's what it is, to tap a 3/8 hole. Okay, that went pretty good. Where did my little, there it is, little brush go? Let's lower this down. Well, those Cleveland drill bits sure work good compared to anything else I've ever had. Nice stuff. While we're here, now 5/32 hole for the screws. Let's move back up here. Tighten everything back. I'm going to slide these over. Now this is not, don't have to be critical here, just put one on either side. Okay, let's see. Before we move anything, let's go ahead and put in our countersink. Well, we'll have to move it anyway. There we go. If that'll fit, it'll reach down that far. May have to do it by hand. That should work. There we go. Now put one more hole over here like this, and then we'll take it over and tap that hole. Alright, got the camera turned a different way, see if y'all can see this. Alright, 3/8 tap. Now this is a little Harbor Freight tap set. It does work. Used it once or twice. And if I used it all the time, something like this, I would surely invest in something better. But no more than I use this. I think it's all right. If we can get it started down in there. I know my hands are all up in the way. Not wanting to start. All right, be right back. I'm gonna work on it a little bit. See what I'm doing wrong. Alright, never mind what I said about the Harbor Freight tap. It's so dull on the edges it won't start cutting. This is an old tap and an old handle. I've got a piece of an old set. I don't know what kind it is, but it works. It is working. Maybe I will invest in a better set one of these days. That one was only less than $20, I think. What's that old saying? You get what you pay for. I think we're through. Yep, broke through the bottom. And I did chamfer the edge just a little bit of this hole too. Alright, take one of our rods and check it. That seats, the wing nut is set down on there. Perfect. There's our stainless screws that'll fasten it to the deck. Make sure they both sit flush. Just like that. Now I'm going to go over to the grinder. I'm just going to round these corners slightly so they're not sharp. So if I ever am barefoot fishing in the boat, which is never, I won't cut my foot. Well, knowing me, I'll wind up figuring out a way to cut my nose on that thing. There we go. I could have came over further with this hole, but I didn't, so oh well. What's that they used to say down south? That dog will hunt. Alright, let's go put it on the boat. I'm just going to screw it down. No big deal. Alright, little wonky camera work here. Okay, that's the one we just made and put on. Now, I have one holder completed. It's dry with the rubber coating on there. And for the sake of not running on and on with the video, I'm going to show you how it works and we'll call it done. Now, let's see. Maybe you can see what I'm doing here. Let's put the camera back up. Okay, there is the finished rod holder. Wing nut there. This is cut short for the back of the boat. This is higher. So let's move to the back of the boat. Same thing. Hang on, let's just let the camera run. Y'all walk with me. See my mess back here. Alright, let's try it again. I need a bigger boat shed. I'm telling you. That is going to have to be addressed soon. Anyway, same thing. We're going to screw it down in here. Tight, say we're going to fish off the back of the boat. Tighten down that wing nut. Take our fishing pliers. Give it a little snug. And I got a half a fishing pole still because we ain't got room for a whole one under here. You can put it down there, right there. And there you go. See what I mean? I'm bumping off the wall over here. Now it's going to move a little bit, as is the deck of the boat. But I'm not trolling for sailfish either, you know. This is just to Sit back and relax. If you're catfishing, bottom fishing, somewhere to set your pole. One on either side of the front and back. You just grab it and lift it out. Just like that. Now, hopefully it didn't go on too long. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I enjoyed doing it. I'll be back with one more DIY for the boat that I know, because I've already got the stuff to do it. I can't find them lights that I talked about, the inside lights. I can't find them, so I have to wait and get some later. But I do have two pretty good size LEDs that I want to rig up with a mount to have one on each side of the boat. Excuse me, for night fishing. Take them off, put them on when you go night fishing, take them off, put them away. And we'll see that probably by the end of next week. I got a lot of stuff to do this coming week. Rest of this weekend is going to be a massive shop cleanup, because this stuff grinding is dirty. Thank y'all for watching. Thank you for your support, and I'll see y'all next time.